Okay, welcome back. This is Lab 6.3. Only one question in 6.3. And here we're dealing with the lower of cost or net realizable value. And so essentially we need to figure out the corrected value. If the net realizable value of our inventory goes down below cost, we need to exercise the prudence concept or the conservatism concept and say that the value of the inventory would be reduced. And so we need to record it at the lower value and record the loss in our income this period. So do we have to do that here? Well, that's a very good question. So the first thing we need to do is need to calculate the cost for each of these products. We have 4 or 5 different kinds of candles, and we're going to calculate the cost in total. We'll calculate the net realizable value in total, and then we'll compare the cost to the net realizable value, and we'll take the lower of the two, which isn't that challenging a concept, but you kind of have to work your way through in correct order. So let's go over here and calculate our totals. We have 16 units times 5.2, and that's $83.20. 28 units times 8.65. Yeah, that's right. And then we have 14 units times 985. And we have 23 units times 6.8. We have 25 units times 9.6. Yeah, okay. And then we add those all up. And this can be the most challenging part of this question, I expect. So the total of all of our inventory in candles is $859.70. Now, for the net realizable value, we have the same number of units, but of course the net realizable value isn't necessarily the same. Let's type carefully, 8.15. 14 times 10.55, and 23 units at a total of 6.55 for net realizable value. So we're just multiplying the numbers up. 25 times 9.5. And then let's add them up again. 228.2 plus so 857.65. Okay, so now we need the lower of those two. So we just pick the lower of the numbers. 83.2 is less than 93. 228 is less than 242. 137.9 is the lower of those two numbers. 50, again, 0.65 is the lower of those two numbers. And 237.5 the lower of those two numbers. So let's add those up. 83.2 plus 228.2 plus 137.9. So the lower of cost or net realizable value applied to individual items is 837.45 because the green unscented candles have gone down in value. Let's begin again here. Purple unscented candles, we can sell them for more than we purchased them for. But the green votive candles, we can only sell them for 228 when we bought them for 242. So the value has reduced in that case. In this case, in the case of the green unscented candles, we can still sell them for more than we bought them for. But red sand candles have apparently gone down in value, as have green scented candles. So those three items would reduce the cost of the inventory if we apply them on an individual item basis. On a group basis, we're comparing the 857.65 to the 859.70, and the lower of those two numbers is the 857.65, which is the net realizable value number. So we have an adjustment required whether we're using individual items or whether we're using the group. So the first journal entry here is prepare the adjusting entry assuming that lower of cost or net realizable value is applied to each item. So that's 837.45. So the difference between the cost, which we've recorded as 859.70, and the 837.45 is going to go to reduce the value of the merchandise inventory, and it will increase the cost of goods sold. So let's put in the date. The date is the 31st of July, and that's the same date we'll use down here. And so the cost of goods sold is going to go down, so we need to reduce our merchandise inventory. So we're going to credit our merchandise inventory. Out here just a second. We're going to reduce our merchandise inventory, so let's do that one first. Merchandise inventory. Excuse me. By the difference between the two, by 859.70 minus 837.45. And of course that's going to be charged to cost of goods sold, which is the other balancing part of the entry. And we can just put in B for that. Okay, then the second part of the, I guess the third part of the lab is to prepare the required adjusting entry assuming that the LCNRV, lower cost or net realizable value, is applied to the whole group, which is this 857.65, which is indeed lower than the cost. So we're going to have to reduce the inventory value from 859.70 down to 857.65. Not much of an adjustment required there. And that would be transaction C. So let's see what looks out of all of that work. Lyrics agrees. We're done.